we're here today with Tom Farrah, who is the Senior VP and CIO of Dr. Pepper Snapple, Tom Young, who is the Managing Director for ISG, and Anubhav Saxena, who is the Senior Vice President in charge of Marketing and Global Development for HCL. So welcome.
And thanks, Joe.
Definitely. And Tom, definitely would like to start with you this morning. First off, to say thank you on behalf of HCL. It's always a privilege when a client is willing to come to an event such as this here at SSON and stand up and speak for you. You know, I think as a service provider, truthfully, I don't think we can get a better honor. Very, very much. So I really do appreciate it very much. You know, Tom, we have a very interesting relationship with you at Dr. Pepper Snapple, and it was put together with a third-party advisor, et cetera. But I'd like you to, just maybe talk a little bit about how you define success in that relationship between yourselves, HCL, and I know it's very much a multi-sourced environment, and how you really define that success in terms of how you make that work today.
Sure. For me, it all starts with the business and the results that we deliver to the business. So when we look at what we're doing, what we deliver, it really has to be around, are we achieving the objectives of the business? Are we driving added value to the business? And if you start from that place and you kind of instill that through your entire organization, which includes your partners, because they have an equal stake in it, that really helps set you up in terms of focusing on the right things for what is important to the business. So we actually will look at very specific goals and objectives versus, IT contract metrics. Okay. And we'll look at those objectives that we know drive specific value to our business, and we'll partner on those things, and that's how we'll measure the organization. And that's worked very well for us because, again, our business now relates to what we're doing. Whereas in years past, when you looked at SLAs in an IT contract, they really weren't relevant to the business.
So how helpful was it to work with a third-party advisory consulting firm such as ISG? Okay, because I know you've had a long relationship with them, and helping you begin to figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, ISG's been a partner for us for a number of years through a number of deals that we've done. They've really helped, to kind of shape this change in how you go forward. Like I mentioned, what we're doing. The old school way of looking at contracting and getting to the letter of the law, and that it doesn't hold water in today's world. And ISG has been a great partner in helping us to look at things differently. And we've been able to take that consulting and kind of build it into now how do we operate, post contracting. And that's really been the highest value to me. I mean, getting to contract is one thing, but actually how you build the relationship and how you operate in it going forward is really the big value add. And that's been a great change for us.
Okay. And then, Tom, from your perspective, I know ISG, like I said, has had a long relationship with Dr. Pepper Snapple. And how have you seen that evolve? Because I know more recently, we've gone through a process of resetting the relationship and making sure that Dr. Pepper's set to go for the next couple of years.
Yeah, so we've been pushing in the marketplace the notion that the RFP is dead, and trying to get clients and organizations to move beyond sort of that formal RFP structure into a more flexible structure. And at Dr. Pepper Snapple, we ran a process called an RFS, Request for Solution, which is a much more flexible way to engage with the marketplace. And basically, in a Request for Solution, I describe my environment, I describe what my objectives are, but I don't prescribe the outcome in terms of very limited, narrow answers. And allow the service providers to come back and say, here's how I'm going to solve your problem. And there's some informality in that approach that allows for collaboration and innovation, which is one of the things that people get frustrated in these formal agreements, that they lack that. And so Dr. Pepper Snapple's been one of our great clients who've embraced the RFS process and is able to establish a relationship with HCL based on that. And we can hope that we can now build on that collaboration and partnership to build that continuing success in a dynamic environment.
Okay. So, and then Anubhav, from an HCL perspective, okay, we're into the almost second generation of the relationship with Dr. Pepper Snapple, and seeing that evolve. What is it from an internal perspective inside of HCL that makes us really want to make this work in a multi-sourced environment? What kind of structures can we bring to help that?
Sure. Sure, Joe. Now, first of all, we're extremely fortunate to have, a very sophisticated client like them, and then, of course, a very sophisticated organization like ISG. I mean, I've been working with Tom on the RFS process a few years ago when Tom really started to actually build out, the entire RFS process that would, change the way the marketplace would buy and the marketplace would contract. We're very fortunate because the first round of interactions with actually several of our clients was the RFP, and then they've kind of graduated to the RFS. Now, the RFS process is itself a very comprehensive process. It's a very rapid process to kind of meet your objectives. It allows, it kind of extends the boundaries of the options out there. Now, we're taking a very conscious choice to participate in the RFS in the way that it's been constructed, and also working very closely not only with ISG and other sophisticated organizations that actually create the marketplace, but also with our clients to actually try and understand what the future objectives will be, not actually objectives that are necessarily defined in the contract, because it's kind of hard to anticipate the needs of the contract or the client, a few years down the road. In HCL, we've always strived to look beyond the contract. I mean, we've had instances where our clients have stopped referring to the contract once the contract has been signed. It's locked and signed, and it's kept in one corner, and then we just go about doing what is very important to them. So from an internal HCL perspective, our structures are always going to be fluid. We're always going to keep our minds very open. And we're going to take advantage of the very sophisticated contracts like the RFS process to ensure that, that we've got a great, thriving marketplace.